So I'm gonna give you a peek into my monochromatic home planner by Passionate Pen and Picture. I've always been a list maker, but it came to a head a couple of years ago when I would make grocery lists and cleaning tasks, and then I would lose them and I would have to make more lists, and then I'd find them and I had all these sticky notes and not a place to put it. So I needed something to help accumulate everything that's going on with like being a home manager and managing home and everything. And I needed something more just organized list making type of a planner instead of staring at a blank page and trying to like figure it out myself. I just needed to simplify things. So I grabbed the home planner from Passionate Pen and Picture, and I have used it for the last 10 months and loved it so much that the 2026 just came out and I grabbed one. There has so many things that I've been able to keep track of in one place and not have to remember or keep track in a different way. There's lists that you can make on your own for like the furnace filter and changing out toothbrushes. Not something you do all the time, but it would be nice to have a space to track it. And that's what I do in here, along with daily tasks. If you like budgeting, there is budgeting pages after every month and things like that. So I have used this and love this, and I'm gonna show you this one because it is a little different. One of the things is it's not as colorful. It's monochromatic in the middle, which I actually love the color, the colorfulness of this, but as the year has went on, I was like, you know what? I feel like it's distracting a little bit to my brain. So I went with this, and also this, instead of a plastic cover, I went with the clay vegan leather cover. So I mostly hang this out on my bookshelf, and I do take it with me if I know I'm gonna be at an appointment long or something like that. I do take it with me. But most of the time it's not like super beat up and wiped down, but I figured that this would be okay, and a lot of people in the Facebook group say that theirs has held up well. So I went ahead and went with this. If you like the monochromatic, there is another color in the plastic sleeve. So I'm gonna show you the differences of this one versus the one I got from this year, from 2025, and then how I kind of set it up and the list I made for all the different things, and then I'll give you a peek into it. The other thing that kind of tipped me over the edge for the home planner, which might not be for everyone, but I love that it had a Bible study already set up and scheduled. The Bible study is Monday through Friday, and I really wanted to get back into reading the Bible, and this gave me like another thing to not have to think about. So I really liked that. And then every month there's a scripture at the beginning of the month. So if you are a Christian, this would be another added benefit. But if you're not, it might not be the planner for you unless you can look past that. But I am gonna turn you around, show you this. Okay, so the first thing different is this. With this, there are two options to have the monochromatic interior. So if you see, this has all the different colors on it. This one is not. And I loved it at first back in January when I started. As the months went on, I just wanted something a little bit simpler and not so kind of in your face. So I am very excited to start with the monochromatic look. And then my washi and decorating and doodling and stuff will be the center of all the colorfulness of my planner. But if you're new to the home planner, it starts out with a stencil and a ruler. And what I did with my ruler is I just put this tip in, is what it's called, with my word on the back of the year. And then you could put a scripture on the back to memorize it or something like that. But it's also a ruler. And then it says, make today beautiful. And then these are here if you want to make your own little stencil or markers or extra notes and stuff. I didn't end up using it, but I do keep it in the front of my binder in case I do. And then every book came with stickers. So last year's stickers, a lot of them are similar, but there are some new ones with this year. I love that she mostly sticks with the same, but she does make a few changes here and there. Like these are new: schedule eye appointment, renew car registration. These are little stickers you can put in. And then here's some top priorities. And then most of these are repeats also, but they're always fun stickers. And then the front of it just explains kind of how to use, she goes over your daily task. So the daily task weekly are the same. And then the left hand is like daily task and the right column is more like afternoon, evening. And what I do, you noticed over here, I started out and did it that way, but then I started doing my own tasks and I just simply write over top of it with a pen and it's totally fine. She does have a sticker book that comes with pages that you can actually, it's a list that you can just put over this whole thing to make your own. But my wake up time and some of my priorities change over the year, so I like just writing it every week. I write it. I keep the left side for me and the right side is for food prep and household task and some family task. So she does give you a sample sheet. There is a weekly project if you want to do 52 weeks of projects, you can follow along. And then morning task, evening task, and she does give you a couple extras that you can write in. And then these tasks every day, every week, every Monday is the same, every Tuesday is the same. One thing that kind of sold me on this last year was the Bible study that's already built into the planner because I wanted to get back into reading the Bible and it just took the guesswork out of what to read. So this one this year is different than last year. So if you're buying the planner every year, you're going through the Bible different ways. That is set up Monday through Friday. And then if I want to read on the weekends, I just choose maybe Proverbs or Psalms or something. There's a space for lunch and dinner, and you can sneak up breakfast. I've been sneaking up breakfast there too. And then something that you can write down that you're thankful for, and then budget daily expenses, a page to do a monthly budget. I keep my monthly budget in a separate folder, but I have been starting to do some Christmas shopping and stuff, so I'm kind of keeping that, kind of whiting out a section and writing down some expenses that I don't normally have. So that has helped me. And then you have a monthly planner with holidays already marked in. And then this is what a week preview, again, it's the monochromatic. If I go over to a page of my old one for you, this is what you would be looking at in one of the other ones. Again, like I said, the tasks are the same per week. So those didn't change from last year. And you have different tasks depending on the day of the week. And then there is a Bible verse at the beginning of every month. I love this one. It's one of my favorite Carrie Job songs. I skipped ahead. Let me go back. Okay, so these are extra pages that you get, and she gave extra ones, so I should have just continued. Okay, spring cleaning checklist, and you can go through and do this, or some people I saw, they print them off and just keep them on the fridge, so if they don't do it, you know, in a week or 2 weeks, you can go ahead and keep track of what you did. Yard and home maintenance, I think this is a great one. I don't feel like that was maybe not in the planner this last year. Maybe it was. Let me check. That, or I didn't pay attention to it. Yes, it was. See, haven't checked anything off. So you can go ahead and follow along that. Again, this is like a no-brainer. Just kind of follow it as it's designed and everything gets done. So company is coming, checklist. I feel like there's an extra page of this. You get 2 pages of this. You get 2 pages of vacation checklists. And then your Christmas checklist, if you choose to follow that. Also, 2 pages of that. Weekly home projects. So this is per week and it's dated here. These are dated, but if you just want to go and not go as scheduled in the planner, you can just jump to here and just do some of them, or copy this off so you can refer back to it. Emergency checklist. I also added on teaching my kids certain things like CPR and fire safety, and we bought this emergency fire blanket. that we can use in the kitchen if we need it instead of getting out the big fire extinguisher. Just things like that, going through emergency routines if something happened to me and they have to call 911, like we practice those things. This is more for like being prepared for emergency, but I always think you should be practicing first aid and where to go in a fire. So it's all natural when the emergency strikes instead of people not understanding and freaking out. Okay, I love these pages. This is a monthly checklist. A lot of people, and myself included, sectioned this off into house and car maintenance and things like that. Things like changing your furnace filter, changing your toothbrushes, your oil changes. When I bought new filters for our fan, I kept track of that. I usually have a different system that I did, like writing on my big jugs of laundry soap and stuff, so I could keep track every time I change it out and mentally keep track of it. But now I have a place I can actually track certain things. And I'm adding on this one, I decided, since I don't do my bills in this book and I travel with this book, so the last thing I would want is to leave this somewhere and then they have my bill information. So I'm actually going to cover the bill payment, but use this system. And I might actually copy this page so I have an extra one, but I want to keep track of those pantry lists. We are a family of 9, so we go through a lot and I buy in bulk and things like that. But this will give me a chance to keep track. As my children get older, we're going through things more frequently. So I feel like every year I have to keep track of things because it varies so much as the children get bigger. So I can keep track of this year and then kind of be able to plan my bulk purchases better next year and then track next year to see if I need to keep adding to it. But this is a bill payment schedule, but you can use this in any different way. I love this idea because those check marks are already there for you. So again, you could copy this page off and tuck it somewhere else so you have an extra page if you wanted it for something else. But I think this is a really good idea in just home management in general, whether it's tasks or it's something you purchase on the regular or trying to stock up, or maybe extra expenses like kids' clothes and different things that you don't necessarily budget for or know how much you spend over a year. This is a good way to keep track of. Personal goals. I started using this and I kind of got sidetracked from it. So you can set some personal goals. I just love to keep sticky notes when I'm planning a new year, so I can just write down some ideas without actually putting anything in the binder and planner yet until I know for sure. And then looking forward, this year I didn't really use this page that much, but you could track some books maybe you wanted to read, or as you read them, you could write them in here. Podcasts that you want to listen to. And then here is dates for 2026 and 2027 all on one page. And then here's a page you can write down important dates if you wanted to. And then Dream Big Home Project Lists. It gives you a page to kind of doodle out or just write down lists and things. Financial goals or any kind of other goal that you want to do. And then there was some extra pages of notes. I feel like she gave us extra pages of notes this year. Last year I had saved, or I had created a page for, I can show you, of some of our favorite meals. And I loved referencing this because if I get into a rut, these are meals that everyone in my family will eat. So if I'm in a rut or just want something I know everyone's gonna eat, I can just refer to this page. So I'm gonna do that again this year. And then some notes for as I plan out YouTube. And then there is a couple extra pages. We have a 16th birthday, and I think what we're gonna do for 16th year birthdays, we're starting a tradition of going on a little trip with that child before they're an adult. And like I mentioned, every beginning of every month has a scripture in it. So here is January. And then January notes. I like to put some ideas for the family, and since we're a family of 9, there are 9 birthdays in a year. So I put a little section on the month of birthdays, and then write breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, and their gift, just as a little memory keepsake. And then I want to write down everybody's birthday. I haven't done that. I just started in here. And then I like to do some, like a financial goal. I like to rewrite it here, or just thinking, or memory keeping, or doodling or something. I saw actually covered this page up. And one of the ladies shared, if you buy a planner, you get into the Facebook group. And one of the ladies shared a page that she had printed and shared with everyone else that covers this. And it was a really good idea. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use it, but I printed it off just in case. She just wrote one fun highlight from every single day, and then kind of like a monthly review of things to look forward to or to change or something like that. And then a couple of little ratings on how you did, and then your priorities for next month, which I think is good because I've been doing this recently in my homeschool planner. So I liked this idea, so I went ahead and printed off a few, and I'm gonna use it towards the end of this month and see if I want to continue it to 2026. And then here is February, I already said. And then the very back, there is 2027 dates to remember, which I think is a good addition towards the end of the year. You're always trying to, with a couple extra pages of notes again. And then this folder. So this folder is kind of, it doesn't fit her sticker books, but some of my, like her stickers don't actually fit in here. They're just, oh, I lied, my friend, sorry. Maybe it's this year's stickers that don't fit. Yeah, it's this year's stickers that don't fit because they're the whole size of the book. These are last year's stickers and they do fit. But I love my Planner Perfect, and this is the planner I used to use. I love it, but I had to get away from it. But her stickers are just beautiful. Most of 90% of her stuff, she actually hand paints herself. And I don't even know if you can buy her sticker books anymore by themselves. So I've kept some from over the years. But I'll keep one that's, you know, maybe fall inspired in here, so I can sticker it. So I'm gonna go through and sticker some of the pages just for fun and washi as my coloring. But like I said, this is the vegan leather. It's a clay color. It's like an orangey brown. And versus the plastic cover, there is a design similar to this if you like this one. I loved it. It does have some scratches on it, but it's held up so nice and it was easily wiped off. I feel like this will still wipe off quite well. I'm not sure about scratches or whatever, but I have a leather wallet and she gets scratches on her, and I think it just shows that you use it. So I'm not super worried about it. I know one of my kids might end up petting this up, but I love it. It's flexible. But I chose this one for the monochromatic, and if you want the monochromatic but want the plastic, there is the green color cover that's plastic that has the monochromatic. All of the other ones all of the other planner covers have the colored inside, so that's up to you what kind of inside you want. And as of recording this one is still available if you love it as much as I do. And also the thing I noticed with this, I don't know if it has to do with the vegan leather, but the binding is a little bit bigger and it is thicker this year, which I never had a problem. Sometimes these can be hit or miss with bending and things. I never had any problem with this bending or coming undone in any way, but this one this year feels even more sturdy. And it is not like an 8.5 by 11, but it's a nice size, big enough to lay open and not have to squish words on pages, but small enough that I can still pack in a bag